riff.
Mystery Mondays, Mystery Monday coming your way, baby, coming your way, we're coming your way. Creatures, things of the night, things that will give you a fright are coming your way, baby, coming your way, they're coming your way. Bullwinkle, me and you, we're about to unfold on you. We're coming your way, baby, coming your way, coming your way. Missing kids and things that will go bump in the night. Coming your way, baby, coming your way, they're coming your way. Mystery Monday coming your way, coming your way, baby, coming your way, it's coming your way. Mystery Mondays coming your way, baby, coming your way, it's coming your way. Mysteries are coming your way, they're coming your way. Mysteries are coming your way, they're coming your way. Mysteries are coming your way, they're coming your way.
Oh yeah, coming your way, baby.
Every single Monday,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
But
only Mondays.
But only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, but actually just Mondays.
Yes.
Welcome once again to Mystery Mondays, everybody. Hope you're having a
What's up?
super sensual day out there, whatever you're doing. Got a good mystery for everyone today. It is once again my turn. Last week we had Drew. Luckily, Drew is safe after our exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
I know last week ended up pretty hot and heavy. We had to perform a last-minute exorcism because the soul of Peter Gibbs had they're still lingering a little bit, but it's,
yeah, he's down there a little bit.
We've been told by our local psychic experts that it will take a couple of weeks for it to fully leave, but it is on its way out. It's a bit like an illness, you know. But
so
you know,
if you see him ever staring like into the distance today,
just looking a bit strange,
then that is the spirit of Peter Gibbs
or
just taking control.
If every now and again he just randomly like goes a bit Scottish,
Hey,
then you know why. So yeah, that was a good way to finish the episode last week. You know, the power of
love,
the power of love, and the Father,
from the abyss,
the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and Gandalf the Grey, all pulled through for us all.
Every friend of the pod channeled himself through Calum.
I can hear your prayers.
Through
I like to think of it as like when Goku's summoning the spirit bomb.
Yeah,
that's what happened last week.
You were calling upon the energy of everyone.
Every friend of the pod. Yeah, ever
channeled
it. But yeah, I got a good mystery for everyone this week. So let's crank up the spooky music.
Oh my god.
And let us put these shenanigans aside for a short while we go balls deep into today's mystery. This is the mystery of the disappearance of Glen and Bessie Hyde.
Dun dun dun. Glen and Bessie Hyde.
Glen Hyde, a farmer from Idaho, and Bessie Haley, an artist from West Virginia, were married in Twin Falls, Idaho, on April the 10th, 1928. He was 27, and she was just 18. In the autumn of that year, they built a boat for a special honeymoon adventure, a trip down the Colorado River to California. Glen was an experienced river rafter who wanted to set a new speed record for travelling through the Grand Canyon, which would have put Bessie in the book as the first documented woman to do so. They took 26 days to get from Utah to the Bright Angel Trail in the heart of the canyon. On November the 16th, they were photographed by a man called Emery Kolb at his studio and home near the rim of the basin. He was well known in the area and had documented the canyon extensively. Kolb would later say that when they visited him, Bessie had grown tired of the trip.
She was bored.
He'd made her do it. She just wanted to draw some pictures.
Yeah. How many days was that? That was quite a few
20,
days. 20-something
26 days.
Yeah, it's quite a long time
just on
a
a
river,
boat.
isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sore butt.
Kolb would later say that when they visited him, Bessie had grown tired of the trip. Kolb apparently warned the pair of dangers down the river.
There are dangers ahead.
He asked them both to stay with him through the winter and wait until the weather improved.
Stay with me.
That's exactly what happened. He
They
even
were weirded out.
Yeah. He even offered them his life jackets. Glen, however, supposedly refused all of his offers.
Suspicious.
I don't need that. I'm a river rafter.
That's
I'm
right.
setting a record.
That's exactly what happened, yeah. So I like that we've got like a little reenactment every now and again. This is perfect. Regardless of how true this account is, one thing is for sure. 2 days after the couple's interaction with Kolb, the pair went missing and were never found again. When they failed to reappear by December of that year, a full search was assembled to find them, which was led by Kolb. Their boat, complete with their full supplies strapped in, was found around mile 237 of the river. Everything appeared to be perfectly intact. There is evidence they made it as far as River Mile 225, where they may have made camp. Their bodies were never found, but it is possible that they were lost around River Mile 232. 2 days after interaction with Kolb, it just seems a bit strange that 2 days after the interaction with Kolb, they were just like never found again. Do you know what I mean? But like that, their boat was found like completely intact with all of its supplies still on board. Like nothing seemed at all awry.
And then Kolb managed to like lead the whole operation to find them.
There's black and white photos you can find on Google of like the pictures that Kolb took of them, and it almost just seems like
Did
a bit
they look
eerie.
scared?
No, but they are quite
It's a bit
weird
terrifying.
pictures because back in those days it was like, you know, it's almost like people didn't smile and that, so it almost looks a bit menacing.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
they're just
really
like, they're just
serious.
like, and all their gear just like.
I've got a really good photo. Do you remember there was a photo in my house when I was younger? I forgot about it until like Josh randomly like shared it in the group the other day.
Right.
Did you see it? And it was like it was we went to one of these reenactment photo things before where you could get like a really old school photo like as a family. So like it's hilarious, man. So my dad
I
is
think I've
dressed
seen
up,
it, yeah.
My dad's dressed up as like a captain of,
Yeah, I thought he was like a sailor or something.
yeah, and I was dressed up as like a young sailor with a book, and then like
And
my
your-
sister
and
was
your
like
mum all dressed in like almost like Victorian sort of
proper
garb.
old like those garbs, yeah, with the dresses that come really out and the corsets and stuff, and it's so weird. You look at it and
It's
we
almost
look
creepy.
like this family from like
Yeah.
1800s or something. It's so weird.
It's actually just like your great granddad's family.
But yeah, but they told us then, they were like, no one smile, just look dead serious and look straight at the camera. But we're all like so serious in it as well. It's like weird.
It's weird that nobody used to smile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you almost think it's like a natural thing to do. Like someone takes a picture and you're like,
Yeah. What's
just
the
to be
most human thing to do?
Yeah. right, we're going to take a picture.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is where the story starts to get really weird, though, guys.
Ooh.
Okay. So the two have gone completely missing. Their boat was found 100% intact with all of its supplies
That's
on board.
weird.
Right. It seemed that they made camp downriver. There was evidence of a camp near their boat,
Oh, okay.
but they've just completely disappeared off the face of the earth.
So how is there? Sorry, I've just got one more question.
Go on.
How is there no evidence that you said their boat was found at mile 237?
No. There is evidence. Their boat was found. 237. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't know that they got past 232. I feel like 5 miles is quite a long way for a boat to go without them being in it.
Well, I guess their bodies, but it was possible they were lost around. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's
Yeah.
quite
You
a
know
long
what I'm
way.
saying?
It's like that plane in that
Yeah.
one that in with Peter Gibbs.
Peter
When
Gibbs.
it's just like it must have flown on its own for ages before it actually went in the sea. But
Yeah.
yeah, like when it's completely intact, you'd think when it hit the river.
would've
Well, I
bashed-
don't know how.
it would've
how-
bashed the bishop a bit.
I don't know how
Yeah.
strong the current is and stuff like that.
Let's
in the
face it,
river.
we're not professional rafters. So
Could have just like really softly just landed ashore.
Like a lazy river.
And then that was it.
Yeah. Who knows? So, the search party spent months combing the surrounding area of the Grand Canyon looking for bodies or any other kind of evidence that may point to Glen and Bessie Hyde's whereabouts. but they didn't find anything. Several years after the disappearance of Glen and Bessie Hyde, a group of men were taking their boats down the Colorado River. They spotted an older woman who was going down the river alone. They invited the woman to join the group, and she introduced herself as Georgie Clark.
Georgie Clark.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Georgie Clark.
The rafting tour guide began to tell the legend of Glen and Bessie Hyde around the campfire late at night. It was at this moment that the old woman abruptly said that she was in fact Bessie Hyde.
Ooh.
How long ago was this after?
A long time after. Something like 40 or 50 years after.
Oh.
They just found, it's really almost like creepy to me as well, that they were just like going down the river and then they just saw an old woman on her own going down the river. Like all like mysterious and that.
Yeah.
Like this little old lady.
And the fog appeared as she arrived.
Yeah, you can find pictures of her online as well, like around the time it happened. She's old, man.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like creepy that she could even like go out on a boat on her own. Yeah, like she looks like as old as like one of our grandmothers sort of thing. Georgie Clark claimed that she was actually Bessie Hyde and that she had stabbed her husband to death after they got into a fight down the river. Bessie wanted to leave because she felt that the trip had become too dangerous. Glen began to beat her, so she grabbed a knife and stabbed him. This woman said everything so matter-of-factly that everybody around the campfire believed her. One of the men in the group found Georgie Clark's phone number and called her afterwards to see if she would do an interview to talk about the story. Strangely, the old woman then denied everything, saying that she had never even claimed to be Bessie Hyde, and hung up the phone, even though there were multiple witnesses to testify that she had. Of course, if she really was Bessie Hyde, she would have to say this. She confessed to murdering her husband, after all. However, this does not explain why she decided to leave all of their belongings behind in the boat. If Bessie truly did kill Glen, she would have been alone in the middle of the Grand Canyon, miles and miles away from civilization, and in the middle of winter, nonetheless. After Georgie Clark passed away, her best friends requested to search her home to look for clues. Clark had also told her best friends that she was Bessie Hyde, and yet she never showed them any proof. Stranger yet, she never let her friends come over to visit her house. When they went through their belongings, they found a mixture of evidence that makes this mystery even more confusing. Georgie Clark had a birth certificate in her house that said her real name was Bessie DeRoss.
Bessie DeRoss?
Yeah, so DeRoss wasn't even her maiden name. Well, like, you know, the actual Bessie Hyde. They also found a marriage certificate of Bessie and Glen Hyde.
Wow, that's pretty, like...
Concrete.
Yeah, that seems concrete
But
to me.
but it gets... But yeah, but but there are other things that make it not so much. In Clark's underwear drawer, she had a pistol. These three pieces of evidence may be enough for some people to completely believe that she was telling the truth. However, all of the photographs of Georgie when she was younger look quite different from that of Bessie Hyde. They do not appear to be the same person. So, was Georgie Clark so deep in her lies that she had a fake birth and marriage certificate made? Or did she steal these documents from Bessie's boat, and she was the first one that found it? Is she actually the murderer? Maybe Georgie Clark was disappointed that she accomplished just as much in the Colorado River as the real Bessie Hyde, and yet she never seemed to get any recognition for her skills until after she pretended to be someone more famous. A man named Richard Westwood wrote an entire biography on Georgie Clark, and he concluded that while her accomplishments as a solo woman adventurer were incredible in their own right, she was not Bessie Hyde. None of it makes much sense. The skeleton in the boathouse.
I like this, but I like how we're going into chapters.
Yeah. In the 1970s, Emery Kolb, the photographer who met Glen and Bessie Hyde, had passed away. When relatives were cleaning out his house, they found a complete skeleton of a human man laying in a canoe in his boathouse.
Oh, I never trusted Cole.
I didn't either. The skeleton was a white man who was over 6 feet tall. he was killed by a single bullet to the head. Everyone believed that 50 years after their disappearance, they finally found the body of Glen Hyde, and that Emery Kolb must have murdered him. Newspapers began to report the story, speculating what may have happened. However, when scientists compared photographs of Glen to the skull from Emery Kolb's boathouse, they realised that their facial structures are drastically different. Mm-hmm. This man is not the body of Glen Hyde. So then, who was it? Was Emery Kolb a murderer? Even if it wasn't the body of Glen Hyde, who
was it?
Who's this man that it seems that Kolb murdered? And why is he just in a little canoe in his outhouse? It just seems creepy. It just seems that either way, like, that body was definitely put there at some point, do you know what I mean, over the years, and it must have been Kolb. Are you trying to tell me that if you had like an outhouse with a canoe in it, they said that Kolb died 50 years after his interaction with the Hydes. You're telling me you're going to go half a century without ever just realising that there's a dead body randomly in your canoe in your outhouse?
Yeah, he obviously shot the guy in the head and put the body there.
Yeah.
And probably, like, he doesn't, like, seem like the kind of guy you would have, like, loads of visitors and stuff,
no.
like sneaking around.
Yeah, he lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, on his own, so he could put a body there and just have it there for years and no one would ever know.
Yeah, and it almost makes it even more creepy in a way. It's like, well, it's hard to say what's more creepy, the idea that it is Glen Hyde or the fact that it's not, and then it's like, there's just this unaccounted for person that nobody knows who it is. Even though the body did not match that of Glen Hyde, it still makes Emery Kolb a much more sinister character. Some still believe that he killed Glen Hyde, and that his motive was maybe that he was in love with Bessie. He wanted her so badly, he was willing to kill Glen. However, people who knew Emery Kolb personally say that they know this to be false, though they admit they were shocked to find that he would have a literal skeleton in his closet, regardless of who it was.
Did they used to keep, like, family members, like, bodies and stuff back then?
No, not in like
they'd
America.
bury him, I would have thought.
They would definitely bury him, yeah. Unless you were like a full-on weirdo, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know?
Or that person who kept that woman doll and porcelain.
But those are the exceptions, aren't they? The most romantic and probably the most plausible theory is that one of the Hydes fell into the frigid waters of the Colorado River, and the other one jumped in an attempt to save their love. Hypothermia would have set in very quickly, and without life jackets, they would have been swept up in the rapids and carried down the river. The boat was sturdy and gently floated into the next natural harbour. Since it had been a month since they disappeared, their remains would have been eaten by fish and scattered in the waters of the Grand Canyon Rapids. Regardless of what happened to the newlyweds, there are whispers that in recent years, the ghost of a young woman has been observed haunting the stretch of river where the couple disappeared. If you believe in that sort of thing, of course. It is very possible that no one will ever know the true story of what happened to Glen and Bessie Hyde, and that it will always remain a mystery.
That was a good mystery, man.
That was good.
That was a good mystery.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, when someone dies young like that, that's the most likely time that I can imagine, like, a ghost, like, kind of roaming around when almost like their whole life's been taken away from them, and they've still got a lot of unfinished business here.
And no one knows what happened as well.
Yeah, it's like I think it's almost like a bit eerie to think, like, apparently, like, in recent years, like late at night and stuff, like people that are also like either camping out in the area or like going down the rapids, apparently you see like the spectre of almost like a woman just like over the river, almost like staring at them.
So freaky, man.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, just like a spectre in the night, just like a wraith in The Witcher. That's how I imagine it, like real freaky
floating in the mist.
Yeah. Oh, like ethereal.
If you guys had to put money on what you think happened, what are you going for?
This is another one, like a lot of the Mystery Mondays we do, it's so hard for me to make up my mind, and I think that's what makes it such a good mystery. Because it's like my mind can't come up with a definite thing. I think obviously Emery Kolb is clearly a lot more of like a complex character than he probably made out he was in his life. I mean, he literally had a body in his outhouse in a canoe with a bullet in its skull. Like, so it seems that at some point in his life he did kill someone, regardless of what that reason was or who that person was. Is like weird. As I said, at first it seemed like, it's Glen Hyde, but then obviously when the coroners did all the stuff, it's like the bones didn't match up or everything with like the pictures and all the medical information they had of Glen Hyde, which seems a bit strange.
I reckon she killed him. She killed her husband because she didn't like the boat and she had a sore bum. And then Emery Cole helped her escape.
I agree.
And then that old woman was her.
You reckon Georgie Clark was
but
her?
just because she had like the birth certificate and stuff like that.
What about the fact that they said that she didn't look like her in the face?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
That's almost like a bit creepy.
I almost
isn't
thought
it?
like they could have helped each other, and even if he wasn't in love with her and didn't, he would have he would have just been like, yeah, I'll help you get out of here, whatever. And she still had a
what
connection
do we do with the body?
with that
Be like,
thing.
I'll put it in my outhouse.
It does seem real, almost weird of Georgia Clark there, how all of her life, she had friends, and then they'd be like, oh, come over, and she'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That seems
and then
very
she
secretive.
had all of this marriage certificate, birth certificate saying her name was
unless
Bessie.
that was fake.
And also another thing I think is weird, which almost adds to all these weird little mysteries, because there's lots of little mysteries in this one, is the fact that the birth certificate said her name was Bessie, but the surname wasn't even the same as Bessie Hyde's one, which means if she was trying to fake that she was Bessie Hyde, you would think that she would have at least made sure that the maiden name of Bessie Hyde was correct.
Yeah, that's another weird
I think
thing.
it was Bessie Haley. I think that was actually Bessie Hyde's maiden name. I think it was Bessie Haley. So it's she would have been able to find that out.
Yeah.
Which makes it almost more weird.
There's some weird thing about her family.
Or maybe Bessie Haley's
family.
real name was.
Yeah.
That whatever one
and
it was.
there's some weird secret about her family that's just not part of the story, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah, man, it's weird.
The Grand Canyon's a cool place.
I'd love to go to the Grand Canyon.
Man.
You've been there,
out of everywhere I've been, we went when we went to America, we checked out the Yosemite National Park, all these natural beauty places.
Don't you just call it Yosemite?
Yosemite, but I think I'm sure.
Maybe it's one tomato or something.
Yeah, probably. But out of all the places that I've been to, the Grand Canyon is the one that blew my mind.
Nice.
Going there, it's so vast and so big and so deep that you look at it and you're like, this shouldn't be able to exist.
I know that Graham Hancock and what's his name, Randall Carlson, especially Randall, have done a lot of research into that as sort of evidence of
the Great Flood.
Yes.
Yeah, the meteor impact, and they say some of the rock formations and the way that things are look give evidence of just mass huge flooding, some of the damage that would happen to the rocks and stuff, they go into that a lot, don't they? And it seems really interesting. And I think it's so crazy as well when you get random boulders in the middle of the desert and stuff. And it's just they say that because it was all ice, the ice melted so quickly that it would go down in this flood, but then there'd still be chunks of ice in the water that would carry these huge rocks, and then just when the ice melted, they would just be dumped in the middle of the land. And it's but no one knows how they got there, but that's the only way they could have, really. Because no one could have moved them and stuff.
The most plausible explanation.
It seems it's so interesting.
It's a fascinating place for many a reason. Both spectres and giant floods alike.
And I swear they said that there's actually ground meteorite stone all throughout that area of America,
that rings
within
a bell,
the soil.
Yeah.
They're little tiny fragments and bits of this which they say proves that there was a meteor impact that caused this massive flood and stuff. So cool.
That's awesome.
Yet another mystery.
Yet another
Monday.
Yet another Monday. Yet another mystery. Anything you guys want to finish on? Have we spent our load for today?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so, man.
Fully extracted our load.
Isn't it interesting story? I'd like to go in a canoe after listening to that down the river
section.
Yeah, down the canyon.
Maybe see the
ghosts
late at night. Build a little campfire next to where they disappeared and see if you can see any spectres.
That'd be cool.
Upon the water.
We definitely got to camp out in America at some point.
Yeah, man.
That'd be so cool.
Oh, definitely. Definitely have to hire a rifle though.
Hell yeah.
Apart from anything else, just for the bears.
Yeah. For the wildcats.
Imagine that, just a little turn of event. Oh god, I didn't think my life would end being eaten by a bear. So yeah, got to hire a rifle. But yeah, we'll go on a little Pandora's Box expedition.
Down a big
Pandora's Box goes camping in near sites of some of the mysteries that we've talked about.
Yeah.
We should check out if we can find any haunted places in England and go check them out.
Jamaica Inn's one of the most haunted places in Britain, isn't it? It's literally on the way down to Cornwall, isn't it?
Is it? I haven't heard of that one. That's cool.
Yeah.
Jamaica Inn. The old Jamaica Inn.
Yeah, I can't remember what makes it so
haunted.
Yeah. But we can talk about it on the next week's pod or something, all about the Jamaica Inn.
Cool.
Cool, guys. Well, everybody, Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week's Mystery Monday. We will see you again next Monday for Bullwinkle's Mystery. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for now.